Oh dear, old school interference. the old school interference that you used to get at school if you sat too close to the tape recorder and your phone was going off.
Oh, nice one.
Oh, memories.
We're very old, Keith.
We are very old.
It's depressing. We'll be dead soon. Then we won't have to worry about football, which will be...
No, come on.
Here, well, the way my team's going, I'm just saying, it's an option. Hello! As Keith takes a massive swig of Lucozade Sport with time... Hang on, wait, just so you don't left out. There we go, just so we don't feel left out.
You just had to start right at the point I was taking a drink, didn't you?
I'm terribly sorry. Well, hello everyone, welcome back to the Poddington cast. Here with, it's myself obviously, with my right hand man, it's Keith, he's here somewhere. Keith, where are you?
Hello.
Oh my word, it's sinister Mrs. Doubtfire this time. It just appears out of nowhere. What's the crack, Keith? How have you been?
We're not allowed out yet.
We're not allowed out, no. Lucky you in the rest of the UK, you actually, have your stuff together and stuff is open, such as barbers and that, hence why the hat is still a thing. But being Northern Ireland and typically backwards, nobody's sorted anything yet.
So. Yeah, apparently we might find out on Friday.
We might find out.
Yeah, that's the general sort of consensus. We're going to find out on Friday, apparently, what the next stage is, shall we say.
Got me pen. I'd take that with it. Hang on, I'll go to the cupboard and grab a massive thing of salt so I can take a big pinch of it. I don't, who knows. I would like to get out.
We might even, not that it matters to you, but we might actually find out when the pubs are going to open.
Well, it does matter to me. I work in one.
Well, it doesn't matter to you the same way as it matters. Doesn't matter to me the same way it matters to you, and it doesn't matter to you the same way it matters to me.
That is true. One instance is gaining money, the other is giving it away. If you want to come to my pub and
rittering it away
and give me money, that would be superb. But anyway, we're not here to talk about the pub as much as we would like to, because it's a much more fun topic to discuss for one of us.
I could probably do a longer set on the pub.
Yes, ironically though, this topic today is enough to drive you to drink, as we will be discussing the relegation battle and who we think will go down. So as of today, which is the 14th of April, is it bad I had to think about that? All the days just blend into one.
It's my birthday in a week. Just throwing that out there.
Jesus, again? You have a birthday every 6. You're like the Queen. You have a birthday every 6 months. It's mental. But yes. So as of today, the Premier League table looks thusly: 15th Brighton on 33 points, 16th Burnley on 33 points, 17th Newcastle on 32 points, Fulham are in 18th on 26 points, West Brom in 19th on 24 points, and bottom is Sheffield United on 14 points. Every team has played 31 games except for Fulham, who played 32. So there's 6 or 7 games left. That is the league standings currently. What do you reckon, Keith? We'll start with Sheffield United, I reckon. I think we can, because it'll...
We'll start with Sheffield United because it'll take no time at all. Sheffield United are relegated. Goodbye.
Yeah, Sheffield United are down. Which is really quite sad, because after the kind of Cinderella story of last season, you thought maybe they could kick on. And to be honest, I don't really know what's happened. Have they just been found out? Or, well, their transfer business was quite appalling. They spent over £50 million on championship level players, really.
They bought Ryan Brewster for £20-odd million. I think that says everything.
I think about £28 million or something. They bought Bogle and Max Lowe from Derby for like 3.5 each, which is fine. That's not bad. I wouldn't say that's a bad signing.
The midfield fellow they signed, was that last season or was that?
Is that Sander Berge?
Yeah.
He was January last season. January last season. He's been out injured for the longest time. I'd say he'll be gone in the summer. I'd say there'll be a big clear out in the summertime. But there's
I would imagine there's a lot of wages there.
Oh, I'd say so. But the long and the short of it is, for Sheffield United, they just haven't been good enough, really, which is unfortunate because they're a bit of a breath of fresh air.
I think the problem was, though, that last year, like, they did so well as they did last year, but they were winning everything by like one goal.
Yeah, well, here a win's a win. That's how
a goal here or there. But this season, a lot of the stuff they were losing by a goal here and there, and that's where you get stuffed.
That's true. I have no issue with winning games by 1-0. Titles have been won by doing that.
Yeah, but the problem is whenever you're doing it last season and then those 1-0 ones are turned into 1-0 defeats this season,
that's true.
That's where you end up finishing in the top half and the 14 points so far this season.
That's true. Well, if your top goal scorer in the league is David McGoldrick with 6 goals, then I think we know kind of where the issue lies. They've only scored 17 league goals all season. They've conceded 55. 4 wins. One of them, the first one, who do you think that was against? 2 draws, 25 defeats. What really can you say?
Did they sack Chris Wilder or did he leave?
I think it was a mutual termination, I guess. But then there was a big kickoff about wanting a big payoff and stuff, even though he wasn't sacked. They said he left and he was looking like £4 million or something.
Mate, listen, how after what he did with that team last season and finishing where he did with them, the man wasn't given a statue outside the ground. You know, they're poor. Let's be honest about it. They're poor. And to get them where he got them was...
Well, you say that, but last season they spent a lot of money. And this season...
Say that, but they beat us this season, so I can't really say very much, can I? Sorry, that's my one per video.
And this season they've spent a lot of money. I think they've spent more money in the last 2 seasons than the likes of Liverpool have. No, you know, so the money has been there. I thought that they didn't have as much money, like they hadn't spent as much, but it turns out they've spent quite a bit. It's just their recruit. It's the same with a lot of Premier League teams. They have all this money and they don't know how to use it. It appears to be the one kind of level. Like the recruitment has just been appalling across the board for a lot of transfers this season. So yeah, Sheffield United are pretty much down. We move on to we'll do a combination of, because we want to get through this relatively quickly. There's West Brom and Fulham. I think we'll just, because they're in the last 2 teams at the bottom 3. West Brom have had a bit of a resurgence recently. I don't think they'll stay up.
No, you see, this is where I have a wee bit on my notes about. Yes, everybody, shock horror. I made notes.
For the first time in how many podcasts have we done, or how many videos have we done together? And this is the first time I've ever seen him write notes down.
This is well, I haven't wrote them down. They're on the computer, but still.
Well, some of us are old-fashioned and we like to write stuff.
Some of us are old-fashioned. Okay. As well as West Brom have done to get themselves in a position where they can stay up. This is where it ends. Their running is just Leicester away, Villa away, Wolves at home, Arsenal away, Liverpool at home, West Ham at home, Leeds away. They're not staying up.
Oh dear. Well, full disclosure, I wrote down pointless stats last night and I forgot to write down their run-in, which is kind of probably quite important. So I only got 3 of their next fixtures done. So thank you for that. I do appreciate it. Yes, I don't see, I just don't want Sam Allardyce to succeed. Is that such a bad thing?
Well, you have reasons because of Newcastle.
Yeah, that and right. This is another kind of big rant of mine. It feels very. We're still we might be on the arse end of this jobs for the lads sort of state of affairs. You know, with the likes of Allardyce, Hughes, who I've made my opinions on Mark Hughes very clear. You know, that sort of they're around in the early to mid 2000s who still managed to somehow get a job based on not a whole heap, really. But no, it's another thing. To be fair, against Chelsea they looked really good, but that was when Chelsea were down to 10 men. But just again,
but the thing is, though, man, even before even before Chelsea went down to 10 men, West Brom were. I know Chelsea went 1-0 up and then went down to 10 men, but even at that was against their run of play, and West Brom were the better team for the full 90 minutes.
Oh, there's no doubt that, even though I've just badmouthed him, that he has made them a better, like a more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Competent football team.
Yes, a more competent unit, who could actually look like they might win a game of football, or at least cause some problems. But it's the depth of that squad again. There's no, out of that squad, who would you take? Plus, if I never have to see that third kit of theirs again, I'll be a happy.
Oh, that yellow and green thing.
Oh, the yellow and red one. The yellow and green one's their away kit. It's awful. So they should be relegated just for that. Relegated with a 20-point deduction, I think, is the fitting punishment. As you can tell, we are not sartorially elegant chaps. But because I'm wearing red with green, I look like a bloody Christmas tree. But no, it's not a good look.
See, to be honest, I've got it here in front of me, right?
Mm-hmm.
See the 5 teams that we're talking about?
Yes.
West Brom, Fulham, Newcastle, Burnley and Brighton.
That's 6. Oh, well, so Sheffield United, yeah.
Yeah, because Sheffield, yeah.
They don't, yeah.
The fixtures that all of these teams have coming in as...
Some of them have to play each other, though, which will be quite...
Fulham have to play Burnley and have to play Newcastle.
With Newcastle, yeah, they've us on the last day of the season at Craven Cottage, I think.
Yeah.
So, there's what, a 6-point gap between...
The thing is before, right, Fulham have Arsenal away, Chelsea away, Burnley at home, Southampton away, Man United away, Newcastle at home. I don't see where they're picking up points there.
Southampton are only 3 points off Brighton at the minute, so they could potentially get dragged in, but we just went with the bottom 6 just for sheer handiness. They could get something out of that, because Fulham played, I think we can agree, apart from Brighton, they play the best, or maybe with Brighton, they play the best football out of any of these 6 sides. And their squad is arguably the best out of these 6 sides. I'm just on the subject of Fulham not being able to put the ball in the net. They have scored the second least amount of goals in the league. They've scored 24 league goals and conceded 42. They have a minus 18 goal. Because goal difference could still come into this, though. So they're on a minus 18 goal difference.
If Newcastle, and because it is 6 points between yourselves and Fulham, it could potentially come down to goal difference, but
it could, because they're on minus 18. Or we're on minus 19, Burnley are on minus 17. It could, but who knows? But the thing as well, Bobby De Cordova-Reid is their top scorer in the league with 5 goals. 5 goals is your top goal scorer. Ademola Lookman has 4 and Cavallero has 3. You can't stay up with these. Mitrovic has, I think, got 1 or no more than 2. But he
was worth it more.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks very much, Fulham. I don't understand it, because Fulham, I'd say that Fulham team is going to get raided in the summer. There's a lot of talent there that I would absolutely take. I don't know. It's just like Anguissa, definitely. Lamina, he's fine. Tosinado Rabayo, I quite like. Ola Aina, he's on loan from Torino. Even Bobby Reid, Cavallero. There is talent there, and I'd say they will get picked off. Pardon?
Keeper's only on loan, isn't he?
Areola, yeah, Alphonse Areola in goal, and God bless him, he's had a lot of shots to deal with.
You can be as good a goalkeeper as you want, but if you're facing that many shots,
yeah,
you're going to let a few in,
So. Yeah,
if you've not got the defense, yourself, if you've not got the defense in front of you, you can have the best keeper in the world, but
yeah, exactly. Fulham are conceding or scoring an average of 0.75 goals, so less than a goal a game. But they're conceding 1.38 goals a game, so they're not. Yeah, so you can't. It's not sustainable. You can't stay in the Premier League. You can't stay in any league with that sort of with those sort of numbers. But they do have 9 clean sheets, though, which is the second highest of any of these 6 teams.
How can you be that? I don't get that.
No, yeah, it spun me out, because moving on to Newcastle only had 5 clean sheets, all season, which doesn't surprise me at all. But it's it didn't. We have the second least amount of clean. We have the second, as in we have the second least highest number. If that makes sense, I've worded that terribly. Well, Sheffield United have 2, we have 5. Like we're the second bottom,
second last. Yeah.
But
just going back to Fulham as far as they're concerned, I think what's going to stuff Fulham a bit as well compared to everybody else is the fact that they played an extra game.
Yes, I think that's going to be the
everyone game on them. So
that's the big thing, as you say. It's as much as I would like Fulham to stay up, it's looking less and less likely.
Well, to be honest, it's a in my opinion, it's a straight up fight between yous and Fulham, and you can say you want Fulham to stay up as much as you want, but you'd rather see your own team stay up than.
Well, Keith, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I would like us. So we'll just move on. We'll move on to Newcastle here because I think we've said about as much as we can on Fulham. Newcastle. Obviously, I want to see them stay up, but we don't deserve to, and nobody else wants to see us stay up because have you seen us play? I say play in the loosest possible sense. We are awful, absolutely awful. I can't remember a Newcastle side this disjointed, this dull, this lackluster, this bereft of any attacking ideals. Not since the days of John Carver, and even he won a game. I suppose he was the best bloody coach in the Prem. So.
Problem is, it comes down to the squad and the manager trying to do what he can. The years have been quite a bit of bad luck with your injuries to your better players, and you take those players out of it. You don't really have very much attack, and
we don't have a squad.
The coach is kind of having to go defensive to at least try and get a point out of some games. Like whenever you don't have Callum Wilson and Almiron and St Maximin, to be honest, you take those 3 players out of your team, you're kind of, what have you got left?
We don't have anything. That's the whole point. Right, because we were discussing this the other day. Well, I say discussing. I was ranting at you the other day, and you were sitting there. God bless you, just sitting, just smiling and nodding. That's the main thing that I'm kind of getting annoyed about is Steve Bruce is somehow getting a pass in all of this. I don't understand how. Like I know they're always in the media. They're all probably bloody busy mates and that. But for people to come on, Sky Sports, BT Sport, Match of the Day, and say, "Oh, he's doing his best. He's doing what he can." I'm not buying that at all.
We are doing what he can with what's in front of him.
But what he's been doing, what he was doing, wasn't working. It hasn't been working since bloody the start of the season. And the thing is, like, you're paid. Like, it's like he can only work with what he has. And fair enough. I don't know if the transfers that he's brought in are him, or if they're who's making the decisions on that front. But if these are players that he's brought in, you've brought this squad together, so you should have an idea of what to do with it, not just throw them out on through 10 men behind the ball and just lump it, see what happens.
Was it him was in charge whenever Joe Linton was bought?
Yes. Rafa Benitez said categorically, it was Mike Ashley wanted him. Mike Ashley sanctioned the deal. Rafa Benitez went to Mike Ashley and said, this is when obviously he was still there, don't buy him. He's a waste. If you're going to buy him, not for that amount of money, because he's not worth it. Rafa didn't want him. He didn't see where he'd fit in. He bought him anyway, and he's proved he's got 3 goals this season from a £40 million striker. Fair enough. It's not all his.
He spent something stupid like £40 million on him.
£40 million. Now, to be fair to Joe Linton, it's not all his fault. Right? Obviously, he's not an out-and-out forward. That's clear to see. He's not getting the service, and even but then again, when he is, he's not putting his chances away. But we're not creating anything for anybody. We are bereft. Like we're just. it's embarrassing to watch. And the fact that Steve Bruce isn't being chastised for this, like I saw an article on the BBC website the other day, it's like, because he's now won a game, it's like, oh, does this mean Steve Bruce deserves, an apology from the new? No, it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. Like, we're going to finish 17th if we're lucky, and we're going to go into next season with the same squad, same issues.
I think regardless of what happens this season, personally, I think you stay up. I have you staying up. I think regardless of what happens, Bruce needs to go in the summer.
It is a way. We are going to go down at some point. It's just a matter of when, as opposed to if. If it's not this season, it will be next season, and we deserve to, and I wouldn't be upset about it in the slightest. Now, as much as I think Callum Wilson is bog standard, in this team he looks absolutely world class, and he has 10 goals this season.
I think Callum Wilson's a great striker. I really do.
Callum Wilson he's fine. Like I say, he's been, in any other side he would be bang average. In this side, he's bloody Mbappe-esque. Pardon?
Better than anything else you've got.
He absolutely is, yes. He has 10 goals. I'd say a few of them are from penalties. I didn't look because that would require effort and research.
The thing with Callum Wilson is, at least, with him, if you're going to get 2 chances in a game, you're only going to get 2 chances in a game.
He'll put one of them away.
You would think he'll put one of them away, whereas if it was Joel Linton, no.
It's Joel Linton. If you're bloody walking along the Tyne Bridge, just be prepared for a ball to smack you in the side of the head.
I think now you've got Wilson back, I think that's what will give you, now right enough, you're playing West Ham, Liverpool, Arsenal, Leicester, Man City in your next 5 games. I think these are alright. I think these will nick a point somewhere before, now that I think about it again and looking and thinking, Europe and stuff, I reckon these will nick a point somewhere before see, even actually they're looking Arsenal still in the Europa League now that I think about it. So then you've got Sheffield United and Fulham as your last 2 games, and I think the fact that you're playing Sheffield United second last will be because you'll beat them.
Well, we lost to them earlier on in the season. I think, to be honest, I'm not looking.
And that's what you'll beat Sheffield United, and that's what will keep you up, in my opinion.
All right, so shall we move on from Newcastle, because I'm just going to get more and more angry, I think.
Yeah.
We didn't really cover Newcastle in a great deal of depth there in regards to statistical analysis, but we were never going to, considering who was talking about them. Moving on to Burnley, 33 points. They can't score goals either. They've only scored 25 league goals, which is the 3rd worst in the league.
Again,
Chris Wood is the top scorer with 7 goals. It's bizarre, man.
Like I'm looking at Burnley's fixtures again, and I think it's for Burnley's sake I think they're glad they've got as many points as they do at the minute, because they've got us, Wolves, West Ham, Leeds and Liverpool in their running.
They do have Fulham though, which will be a big game.
They do have Fulham and they do have Sheffield United, so I think that's what keeps them up. That's what I mean. I think they're glad they've as many points as they do at the minute.
I think the kind of pattern with all of these teams is it's going to be the sides in and around them. Those are the games. Obviously, those are the games that will matter most in regards to who will survive this year.
The big 6-pointers, as they say.
The big 6-pointers. Burnley, they'll have again, because they've scored so few goals. I'm looking at their kind of goals per game. They're averaging 0.8 goals, so less than a goal a game, and they're conceding 1.35 goals a game. So I think that's the same as what you said for Fulham too, wasn't it? 1.35 a game. 1.38 for Fulham, so it's not kicking the arse off. So they're pretty much conceding pretty much at the same rate. They also have 9 clean sheets though, so that's exactly the same as Fulham. There's also a statistic here for big chances created. 28 apparently big chances created. I don't know exactly what that means, but that means that they've scored 3 goals less than the amount of big chances that they have created, which is not good, really, by any standard of measurement.
It's more the, I mean, if you were to look at it and go, right, well, they've scored 25 out of 28 big chances created all happy days. You know, when you look at like percentage-wise, you would go, oh, they've scored this, you know, because that's a very, very high percent. scored on 90% of their big chances created, but
then you think about
whenever you realise that the amount's only 28, it's...
Yeah, and then you think about the ones that aren't big chances. I don't know. It seems like such a weird metric, but I thought it was worth mentioning because it seems interesting. I do have a certain amount of sympathy for Sean Dyche. Burnley legitimately have no cash. I mean, if your main kind of marquee signing is to bring in bloody, what was his name, like a 30-year-old central midfielder from Brighton for less than £1 million, then you're kind of on your arse a bit, aren't you?
Yeah, you kind of are.
I've kind of come round to Burnley, to be honest. I think that, when I thought they were very just kind of meh. But now that they've kind of established themselves in the Prem, they're fine.
Now that you've beat them, you don't care so much.
Well, yes. Hang on, I think there's someone at the door.
Did you go to the door?
I did. It was some lad looking for the neighbour. So I was like, why didn't you just go there then? So yeah, as per usual with Burnley, it's not being able to put the ball in the net on a multiple amount of occasions. I can't talk. It's very early in the day for me. I've only had one tea. I'm on the juice.
Yeah, like the thing is, like, they can put the ball in the net, but again, they've got their points now. I think they're safe enough, to be honest.
The dogging. Yeah, I'd say Burnley, another result or two. If they've got, like you say, they've got Fulham and Sheffield United.
Yeah.
So you'd assume there's at least 4 points. So you'd say that they're going to stay up, as well as Brighton in 15th. To be honest, Brighton I really like seeing Brighton. I like the way they play, and under Graham Potter, I think they have a chance to really build something there. So I'm kind of hoping that if they stay up, they'll be able to actually build on that and fulfill the kind of potential that we know is there. It's just literally, again, it seems to be the kind of running theme here is like teams just can't put the ball in net, and Brighton are the prime example of that. Even though they've obviously scored the most goals of any of these 6 sides. They have 33, conceded 38, and -5 goal difference. Neil Maupay is their top goal scorer with 8 goals in the league. It's still quite I think that goes to show whenever your main forward has only got 8 goals in the league, pretty much goes to explain as to why.
Oh God, really?
Again, going back to these kind of key stats that I've written down here for regards to goals per game, they will score over a goal a game, but they will 1.1 goals will be scored per game, but they will concede 1.23. So it's a better ratio than the rest of them. They have 10 clean sheets this season. But the most damning kind of, if we're going back to this silly big chances created stat, they've created 39 big chances this season, and have only converted 33 of them, going by the amount of goals they've scored. And that's not to take into account, just corners and free kicks and balls into the box and all that other nonsense. So I think if Graham Potter is just given the opportunity just to kind of mold this it's not even that, it's because they are playing the kind of way that I assume that he wants them to play. It's literally just ball, net or not.
It's the problem is doing a football.
Doing a football is the main issue here, which has been the case for all 6 of these sides, which is why they're in the bottom 6, Keith. So
kind of really, isn't it? Not to put too fine a point on it, but
yes, in our typically analysis heavy sort of way. So I'm going to put you on the spot. From 15th down to 20th, name your bottom 6 for me, please.
To be perfectly honest, you see the way the table's sitting at the minute.
That's the way that you...
Brighton, Burnley, Newcastle, Fulham, West Brom, Sheffield United. That's
the way it's going to stay for you?
Yeah. I think the 3 that are in the bottom, we've already spoken about Sheffield United, they're gone. I think West Brom and Fulham go. I reckon the fact that you have those 2 games, last 2, Sheffield United and Fulham is, to be honest, I think the Sheffield United game's what saves you. I think to be honest, by that stage you beat Sheffield United and that'll be it. Fulham will not be able to catch you. It'll be over.
Well, here's hoping. It's more hope rather than expectation for me. Brighton, I think, will stay ahead of Burnley and we will stay 17th. The only thing that could possibly happen is just West Brom are hitting this decent little run of form. They might overtake Fulham, maybe. But I'd say
the fixtures that West Brom have just not for me.
But we're all in it. But we are in agreement that Sheffield United, West Brom, and Fulham will be going down. Yeah,
those are the three.
See, I don't know. I can never write us out to implode dramatically, and I think with us being on the final day of the season, much like we did last year with the final day watch along, I think we might try and do that again this year if we can. Except the stakes will be, you'll be able to just sit back and relax, and chilling out, Max, relaxed on all, cool and all, and I'll be the one bloody tearing out what's left of my hair.
Like I say, I think to be perfectly honest, I think it'll be fine. I don't think it'll go last day.
I hope not, Keith. I hope not. But then again, whenever I've put my hope and faith in stuff, it's generally let me down.
No,
mainly because of me. If I'd picked another team, I wouldn't be in this situation. It's my own bloody fault.
That's a depressing way to end the podcast.
That is what we think in our typically
wonderful opinion.
Wonderful and thoroughly well thought out and well rationalized opinions on the topic. So let us know what yours are, obviously, and tell us how wrong we are, because you always do, which is infuriating because the truth hurts. So Keith, anything you'd like to plug before we go? Twitter, Instagram, crisps. Any other brands of crisps you'd like to plug? And hopefully they'll sponsor us.
Just crisps. Crisps are great. Eat crisps
in general. Is there any flavour of crisp you don't like?
Don't like Ready Salted. Can't be dealing with that.
You can't.
I don't see why they're a thing.
See, I don't mind a Ready Salted. I'll happily take one. Sour cream and onion can actually just.
No, I'll take them. Those are fine.
No, sour cream and onion are the crisps that are like at a house party. They're the ones that are left over at the end of the night whenever there's no other crisps left.
I like sour cream and onion. I'll eat them.
That's just because we've established that you're very odd, Keith.
Yeah.
But yes, on that note, it's cheery bye. There's no fancy way to end. It's just cheery bye. Bye. Your beard is putting mine to shame, and I'm very upset about it. Once I hit puberty, all will be well.